What's up everybody? Awkward Anxious Jennifer here, and today's video is going to be a little bit different from what I usually do. Now, I want to start off by saying I will not tolerate homophobia or any other hate on my page. Anybody who leaves hateful comments will be blocked immediately. I am very supportive of the LGBTQ plus community, and if you're not, then yeah, we're not going to be cool. So anyway, I got this idea because I've been binge watching Law and Order SVU recently. And it's interesting to watch a show that started back in 1999. You know, the show, if you're not familiar with it, takes place in New York City, and it's, you know, I mean, it's a crime drama show. And right now I'm up to season 6, I think. And, you know, episodes aired right now in about 2005. And it's been interesting to see how what's allowed on TV and cultural norms and whatnot have changed over the last 15 to 20 years. You know, for example, I was absolutely floored in more than one episode to hear a word that I don't really care to repeat, but it's a slur for a transgender or transsexual person that starts with T and ends with a Y. And there was one episode, they must have said that word half a dozen times, and it just shocked me. I don't even know the last time I heard that word. I just find it really offensive. But the other thing is, apparently in 2004, 2005, bisexual people did not exist. And I'm actually aware that this is still a problem that bisexual people face. The common term is bi erasure. You know, people who are bisexual feel like their identity is constantly challenged by people, like it doesn't exist. Now, personally, I consider myself straight, but I'm open to the idea that I could meet a woman someday who would change my mind. But, you know, I'm definitely an ally to the community. I grew up with family members who are LGBTQ+, so it was always just a normal thing for me. And I currently have friends who identify as bisexual, pansexual, whatever. And for those of you who aren't familiar, pansexual is pretty similar to bisexual. Some people, use the term bisexual to refer to people who are strictly interested in people who are male or female, and not necessarily anything else, while people use the term pansexual to refer to anybody of any gender, or people who define themselves as gender non-binary. Either way. So, you know, even though I'm going to use the term bisexual mostly, I'm meaning pansexual. I'm just using the term that more people are familiar with. So anyway, hopefully there's less bi erasure now than there was 15 years ago, but since it's Pride Month, I thought it would be a good idea to help put some information out there and try to educate my audience if I have any people who are not real familiar with this topic, and talk about some statistics and whatnot. So I pulled up just a little bit of research. According to a 2011 study conducted by the Williams Institute at UCLA, approximately 2.2% of women identify as bisexual, compared to 1.1% who identify as lesbian, and approximately 1.4% of men identify as bisexual, compared to 2.2% who identify as gay. Scientific studies have verified bisexual arousal patterns in both men and women. So I thought that was interesting that, you know, more women consider themselves bisexual compared to lesbian, but more men consider themselves to be gay rather than bisexual. However, bisexuality does exist in both of those genders. According to the Williams Institute and the HRC Foundation's own research, now the HRC is the Human Rights Campaign, studies suggest that about 50% of people who identify as either gay, lesbian, or bisexual identify as bisexual. That makes the bisexual population the single largest group within the LGBTQ community, which is interesting to me because from what I understand, bisexuals not only get hate from straight people, but from within the LGBTQ community as well. You know, they often get accused of, oh, well, you're not bisexual, you're actually gay, you just don't want to come completely out of the closet. Things like that. Or, well, everybody's attracted to either men or women. You can't actually be attracted to both. Pick a side. And that's sad that they get a lot of hate from within their own community. Let's see. Because of biphobia and bi-erasure, bisexual people suffer significantly higher rates of depression and anxiety, domestic violence, sexual assault, and poverty than lesbians, gay men, or straight, cisgender, which means non-transgender, people. Bisexuals also face major health disparities and poor healthcare outcomes from a lack of adequate preventative care. The HRC Foundation's study of bisexual youth suggests that biphobia and sexual harassment start affecting bisexuals at a young age. So those are some pretty sad statistics. Obviously, or maybe it's not so obvious if you don't know, but the transgender community suffers the most, the highest suicide rates, the highest homicide rates, the most abuse within the LGBTQ plus community. But I never realized that bisexual people are apparently just right behind transgender people as far as that sort of stuff. Let me see. Some bi people are more romantically attracted to men and more physically attracted to women. These are just some examples. So let me back up a little bit. There's a common misconception that people who identify as bisexual are 50-50 attracted to men and women. And that's just not generally the case. It may be the case for some people, but a lot of bisexual people experience their sexuality in different ways. So these are some examples of ways that people may experience their bisexuality. So some bi people are more romantically attracted to men and more physically attracted to women. Some bisexuals are attracted to people who conform to mainstream gender norms. Some are attracted specifically to people who defy those norms. For some bis, gender is an important part of attraction. For other bi people, it is totally irrelevant if a person is male, female, intersex, or something else. Many bis have very fixed patterns of attraction, while for others, the balance between heterosexual and homosexual attraction is fluid and changes over the years. What unifies all these people and makes them all bi is the fact that they have the capacity for romantic and or sexual attraction to more than one sex or gender. Now, like usual with my informative videos, I'm going to put the links that I used for my research in the description box below. So anyway, I hope that helps inform some of you more about bisexuals and the bisexual community. They aren't trying to have their cake and eat it too. They aren't just, like another misconception is that bisexual people have to always be in a relationship with a man and a woman. That's not true. Anybody who's in a monogamous relationship doesn't stop being attracted to other people. They just choose to be with that one person. And same with bisexual people. They can still be attracted to other people, but if they choose to be in a monogamous relationship, not all bisexual people are polyamorous, which is, polyamory is a whole other video. Anyway, yeah, I do want to promote a lot of tolerance and understanding and whatnot on my channel, even though I'm primarily about mental health. Mental health really strongly affects the LGBTQ plus community, so I thought it was appropriate to touch on today during Mental Health Awareness Month. So anyway, those of you who have been following me for a while, I'm having a pretty good day today. I've kind of been low energy the last few days, but mentally and emotionally I'm feeling pretty good. So I'm hoping I'm kind of on the upswing out of the depression. I just wish I wasn't so tired all the time, but hopefully I'll get there. So anyway, I guess that's it for today. I will talk to you all later. Be kind to each other, be kind to yourselves, and I'll talk to you all later.